Gentlelady from Colorado, Ms. DeGette, who by unanimous consent has been granted 5 minutes to ask questions of the panel.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you again, for both of you gentlemen, for coming today. Mr. Tillerson, you testified in response to a couple of questions ago that at least ExxonMobil doesn't object to disclosing what's in fracking fluid, correct?
That's correct.
Would that be also your position, Mr. Simpson?
It would be, Congressman.
And recognizing that in my legislation and also in my opinion, I don't think that the proprietary chemical formula should have to be disclosed unless there's some emergency. And I would assume that would be both of your gentlemen's positions as well, Mr. Tillerson. You wouldn't want the proprietary information disclosed. And Mr. Simpson, would that be correct?
That's correct.
Now, that's good news to me because that's all my bill does. And I see my friend from Arizona has left. But as I said in my opening statement, I have absolutely no intention to outlawing fracking. In fact, I think fracking is important to get a lot of these reserves out of the ground. And I think, Mr. Tillerson, you testified earlier that fracking has been around for 60 years. But I think you would agree with me that it's been in about the last 10 years or so that it's been used a lot more than it had been because of the necessity of getting some difficult natural gas out of the ground, correct?
Well, no, I don't know.
You don't agree with that?
I'd have to look
because there were. You testified that it is your belief, and I think also, Mr. Simpson, you agreed, that state regulations, that you believe state regulations are the best way to monitor fracking activities across the 50 states, correct?
Correct.
Are you aware that only 4 states have laws specifically directed at hydraulic fracturing? Yes or no?
Some states where these plays are emerging are putting in place their regulatory structure.
Okay, but right now only 4 states have it, correct?
And they can look to other states.
Yes or
for
no,
guidance.
sir?
Well, I don't. I'd have to
you
look.
You don't
at
know.
state
Okay.
by state.
Is it your position?
I acknowledge that some states have a more mature regulatory structure around this area.
Thank you. I apologize. I only have a few minutes. But it would be your position, I would assume then, that the rest of the states that don't have specific hydraulic fracturing statutes have other laws that might implicate this, correct?
That they have other laws that would govern certain aspects of it.
Okay.
Yes.
So my question is, for your company, ExxonMobil, how much money does your company spend on complying with the regulatory processes of the 50 states every year?
I would have to get you that number.
Would you be willing to do that?
I'll see if we can get you something.
Chairman, I'd ask unanimous consent that the gentleman be allowed to supplement his statement with that information.
Without objection.
And Mr. Simpson, how much does your company spend annually complying with these different 50-state laws on disclosure?
I would need to get that specific number.
And would you be willing to do that as well, sir?
I would.
Thank you very much. I'd appreciate that. Because here's my next question. Is it your view then, Mr. Tillerson, since you're willing to have the components of fracking fluid disclosed, but you do not want to see that happen under the Safe Drinking Water Act? Would that be your testimony today?
That is correct.
And would it be your view, because that would be an additional regulatory hurdle that you would have to jump through?
It's because the devil's always in the details.
Okay,
when
so
you turn
because
this
it would be
over
an
to the
additional
EPA,
regulatory hurdle? I mean, what does that mean, the devil's in the details?
Well, it means I don't know how the EPA is going to enact or implement the regulation that you're promoting or in your bill.
Well, all it says, sir,
I take
is that
you
they
as
need
being
to
a very
report
sincere person that all it says is, but I've dealt with the EPA.
Sir, can I ask the question, please?
Mm-hmm.
If your company has to report the fracking materials to the EPA under the Safe Drinking Water Act, just like every other person who puts things into the ground, how much more would it cost your company every year in regulatory compliance?
I do not know because I don't know how the regulation is going to be written,
okay.
Nor do you.
And therefore, can you say today whether or not, simply reporting the components which you agree should be reported under the Safe Drinking Water Act would make it commercially impracticable?
I do not know.
You do not know. And what about you, Mr. Simpson? Do you know?
I do not know either.
Okay. And has anybody told you how much more it would cost to report it under the Safe Drinking Water Act versus 50 different state laws?
No one's told me such.
And have they told you, Mr. Tillerson?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, gentlelady's time has expired.